All right, we're live. Hey, we're in the Classic Rock Throwdown. Big Daddy, the latest edition. This is not the Big Daddy Graham Classic Rock Throwdown, but we are on Wildfire Radio, and my name is Darren.
Yeah, my name is Brian Startare, and that's Darren DeGaetano. We can use our last names.
Well, you can use our last names.
This is Wildfire Radio. We love the invitation here to come to these great studios here and try out a new, different wave of radio. And I'll tell you, I have heard my former colleague and our good friend, Big Daddy Graham, with his rock and roll podcast.
I guest hosted on the Springsteen edition.
Absolutely phenomenal.
It was fun. We had a ball. And there's some great guys down here, Jim, Steve, Tommy, Joe, and they spoke to us and said, "Hey, got any ideas?"
So this is what you call a maiden voyage. This is our first foray into this. So we're going to be all over the place for the next hour or two, just to give you some basic tidbits of what's going to be ahead on this. So if you're looking for format right now, if you're looking for some musical stylings, you're not going to get any of that. But what you're going to get is you're going to get content, you're going to get agenda-free radio,
yes,
and you're going to get two dudes who've known each other for quite some time.
Yeah, and I always get confused because we went to two different colleges together, and I always forget which radio station we worked at together.
We worked at WDBK. 91.5 in Camden County College.
And half the time I say, was it GLS in Rome? No, it wasn't. Darren.
And then the other one was WGLS, 89.7 at Rowan University.
Right.
I spent many years there. Of course, I spent 9 years at 94 WIP, formerly 610, and now I'm with 97.5 the Fanatic. But this is a fantastic opportunity because not only is it a chance to do some agenda-free radio and kind of be free a little bit here, but also it's a chance to get together and we have done so many road shows in our radio, in our cars, that now we're putting it down on tape.
Yeah, we've gone to a lot of concerts. We do a lot of road trips together. So, we'll go see Springsteen. We'll go see, we're concert guys. We're music guys as well. How many shows have we done just in the car driving, kind of laughing, saying this is a good fit?
It's absolutely amazing. We have so many different things in common here between sports and Springsteen and everything else. So it's going to be a fun time. First, we wanted to have a name for the show. So Darren came up and said, "How about I'm always calling you a bastard. So how about a magnificent? How about a magnificent bastard?" And I said, "You know what? I think that stemmed from. Let me do some research on that. That came back from the 2nd Battalion, the 4th Marines. My dad was a United States Marine Corps.
He was, that's right. You got
your dad. So I thought this was perfect. So
I just had it from Seinfeld.
Right. So we are now
far less important.
We are now the magnificent bastards. Now I did some a little bit of research here.
Okay.
On the
actual history of the term magnificent bastards.
This is from the Urban Dictionary here. So we're now urban. It says there's a certain type of character that defies such definitions as hero, villain, good or evil, friend or enemy. Love him or loathe him. You have to admire him, and at the end of the day, there's only one thing we can call him, and that's a magnificent bastard.
I'll tell you what, that defines us pretty well, except you and I are not urban in any way.
No,
so
that's
not.
No, we're far from urban.
We're the farthest thing from urban.
All right, so we're going to shake things up. We're going to do a little sports. We're going to do a little music. We're going to do a little food. We're going to do a little wife bashing. Just kidding. I'm sorry.
A little bit. My damn wife.
All right, so as we tape today on this, I feel like doesn't Peter King say that on HBO? Today, Wednesday, as we tape today.
We're here today.
So he doesn't make any mistakes here. Lots going on this week. First of all, let's go with the big story. It's the 76ers draft coming up on Thursday. Now, all we've been doing now in talk radio and all we've been doing around the bars across Philadelphia and South Jersey has been who are the 76ers going to grab? They have the 3rd overall pick. They have the 10th overall pick. They have Thad Young as a trade stock. Darren, as it speaks right now, Andrew Wiggins seems to be the choice for the 76ers.
I'll be shocked if they come away with anybody but Andrew Wiggins. I think it's been very obvious and clear since day one that Hinkie covets him like he's his own child. And that's why you're seeing all the secrecy around him, which is ridiculous. They locked everybody, all the media out of practice, or out of the practice facility. It's been kind of ridiculous. The cloak that they're placing around
the cloak
kid.
of secrecy.
The cloak of secrecy.
Andrew Wiggins seems to be the most polished and ready for the NBA, which really doesn't matter for the 76ers since there's still a couple.
I think you mean Parker is more polished.
I'm sorry, Parker is more polished, but Wiggins fits the Sixers' identity.
Right, and they're looking 3 years down the road here. Last year they made it clear this is a 2-year tank. They have no problem saying that.
And you can't afford to suck in the NBA if you want to get better. You have to. That's part of the mentality. So I applaud the Sixers for taking this long road because it's the only way you can get better. And it's no guarantee. You have to draft Darren, I say without equivocation that on Thursday night, the night of the draft, it's perhaps the biggest draft night for the Sixers in quite some time. It's a franchise turner.
Since the year they drafted Iverson, no question. It is the biggest draft. It's very important. And I understand. And, and Hinkie's being a little quiet, and I don't have a problem with that.
You got to let the fans in on it, though. You got to let the fans know a little bit.
But you know what? You don't want to tip your cap in any way. Like you said, this is an extremely important draft for this team. And they have to get it right. It would really, to me, it would be really disappointing. Von Lee's going to be a good player. I don't know anything about Exum. To tank and have the year that they had to put the fans what they went through this year with a bunch of rent-a-cops.
They won 19 games. And this brings me on to the next thing about, you said Dante Exum. And in order to get Dante Exum, I don't think both he or MCW can work together on a team.
No, you can't.
Basketball guys say they can. I don't see it. And to trade MCW, unless it's a significant haul back, I know he has to develop a mid-range jumper. I know he has to develop a shot. And I know he has to get better in certain areas. But he was a rookie. And just to say he was only Rookie of the Year because it was a weak draft class, it's disrespectful.
It is.
And why would you put yourself another year back in this rebuild? Brett Brown spent an enormous amount of time with MCW.
Right, teaching this kid.
So why would you go backwards and trade him?
I think it would be a big mistake as well. I think the Exum stuff from the Sixers standpoint is all smokescreen. And I think in Chad Ford, by the way, Chad Ford, if you don't read him, he is the Adam Schefter of the NBA.
Is he on Yahoo or ESPN?
I think he's ESPN.
Yes. Oh, Adrian Wojnarowski.
Wojnarowski's Yahoo guy, right. So Chad Ford, if you're a big NBA, if you're hoop head and you don't follow him, my goodness, you're missing out because he's all over everything. And now you got Orlando in the mix, Milwaukee. Orlando, he reported today that Cleveland is now looking at 4-12 from Orlando because they want Exum really bad, which means Wiggins would probably fall to the Sixers.
And Mr. LeBron James threw a wrench into everything today when he opted out of his contract with the Miami Heat, thus making him a free agent. I wish the Sixers were about 2 years ahead in the future because they have enough money, the max contract, to offer LeBron James to come to Philadelphia. The latest rumor is that LeBron James is probably going to end up back in Cleveland but
I don't think there's any chance of that. So I really don't. I think he goes back to Miami. I think him opting out was just a preliminary process.
Just to get a new contract.
Just to get a new longer-term deal.
I think he goes to Boston. I think Boston's a good fit for him. And I'll tell you put him inside.
Sickening would that be?
It would be horrible. It would be horrible. So, anyway, Cleveland's got these things that they're working out. They hold the #1 pick. They messed up severely with Anthony Bennett last year. So they can't screw this one up.
Yeah, they sure did.
Milwaukee's got #2. They need everybody. And you got teams like Orlando at 4. You got teams like the Lakers at 7. Everyone's trying to get into the top 5 because it's the big 3. Right. It's Parker, it's Wiggins, and it's Joel Embiid. Now, Embiid is the wild card in all this. He was a clear-cut #1, Darren, until he breaks his foot.
Right. A stress fracture that the Cleveland doctors reported they even know he had. I don't know what fascinates me more about this injury. The fact that you can just crack your foot in in shoot-arounds, or the fact that you're playing and shooting around with a fractured foot and not even know it.
And also, his medical records have already been protected like NASA launch codes. Right? I mean, because, he's got a bad back. They don't want to ruin his salary. Right. So there's some bad things going on here because Embiid now has thrown a wrench into the Sixers' plans because if he was healthy, there's not a basketball guy out there worth his salt that would not pass on him.
Absolutely.
#1.
Absolutely. And here's my question to you. Let's just say everything goes chalk. Wiggins goes 1 to Cleveland. Parker goes 2 to Milwaukee. Are you rolling the dice?
I'm either trading or see, and I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your ass here and tell you I'm an NBA superstar.
Right.
I'm not. Okay, I know as much as the next guy with the NBA. I just happen to pay attention more because I get paid for it. But I'll tell you this, is that I would find somebody to say, is Randall good enough from Kentucky? Because I talked to Fran Dunphy, the head coach of the Temple Owls, and he said Randall would fit perfectly in what the Sixers are trying to do.
Well, Randall's a guy that a month ago was the clear-cut #4 guy. Right. And then he's got an ankle or a foot injury as well, and I've seen a lot of mocks of him fall to 10. And I'm the same as you. I pay attention to the NBA a little bit more because I have to, but I'm not a big NBA guy.
I am not opposed to trading, but you know what? If a basketball guy on my war room team comes in and says, this is the guy we have to have.
Right.
This is the guy we're going to draft.
Right.
And if we move out of the spot, we're not going to get this guy. Then okay. So when I look at it that way, if that scenario, if you think that's going to pop out,
yeah.
And if Wiggins is your #1 category,
right.
I think you have to do whatever you can in your power. And I know Cleveland has already turned down 4-12 and a follow for the number one. 3-10 is probably not going to get it done with Thad Youngman.
No, I don't. Well, I thought I do think 3-10 and Thad Young could get it done. I don't know that they passed on 4-12 and a follow yet, and that's just being reported that they're interested in it. But
so if Orlando goes number one, who they go? Who are they going for?
According to every report, at least according to Chad Ford, they're in love with X.
I don't understand this love affair for a guy that's 18.9 months old, that has skipped the year of basketball, that has never played in a league higher than the Australian League. I don't understand this.
I don't understand it.
I mean,
I don't
if
know how
this
you can
kid was so
measure the guy.
damn good, how come he's not over here already?
And I don't understand how you can measure a guy who's played in the Australian League, who's 18 years old. How do you measure his impact against his competition? I don't know how you measure.
I just hope the old Brett Brown crosshairs don't get involved in this.
Yeah.
Listen again. And to me, Dante Exum and MCW, it's not pizzazz there. I mean, I don't think it makes sense. I like MCW. He's got good court vision. He was the Rookie of the Year. Why stunt and go backwards?
To look every single Sixer fan in the face over the last 15 months and say, we're going to take your money and throw it down the drain all year and not come away with Wiggins would be an enormous slap in the face.
He's Darren DeGaetano. I'm Brian Startare. You are listening to the Magnificent Bastards here on Wildfire Radio. Right here, wildfire.com.
We're coming here from Collingswood, New Jersey, which is a cool little studio, cool little setup they have here. You ever come down here to Collingswood?
I love Collingswood. I just ate. I went down the street. I was waiting for you. I had some Chinese and Japanese flair.
Oh, you're a big sushi guy, right?
I'm a big sushi guy, yeah.
My wife can
fish.
tell you. Don't say that while I'm talking about my wife, please.
That was very poor timing.
Poor timing. So my wife can literally, I could say, start at the corner of Fern and Haddon and just go right down and tell me she can name every restaurant. She's been to every one 6 times. Yeah. And let's go to Nunzio's.
Well, I'm on my perpetual diet again, so I'm doing well. And I had the steamed chicken and broccoli, and I had a little hot and sour soup that's to clear the nasal passages.
There you go.
But I've been doing very well. I'm down 17.
Svelte.
Yes, looking better. I wouldn't say svelte right now, but I'm looking better. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good, Billy Ray.
Looking good, Billy Ray.
Feeling good, Lewis. All right, so that's the Sixers. That's the draft Thursday night. By the way, can I plug my appearance? Absolutely. I can, right? Thursday night I'll be at Shalene's Pub in Westville, New Jersey.
That's a great bar.
Yeah. Tonight I'll be at Clancy's, which is a Tuesday night. I'll be at Clancy's from 8 to 11 in Sewell, New Jersey, hosting Quizzo.
I've hung with you there. I think.
And then Wednesday night I'll be at the House of Brews. I'm on the Big Daddy tour. And then Thursday I'll be at Shalene's with an NBA draft and a book signing of This Day in Philadelphia Sports, available at tdips.com. Okay, I'm done.
That's all right. I've spent a few nights in Shalene's. Spent a few
blurry
nights.
I spent a few mornings in Shalene's. So
that's true.
Come out and grab us out there. We'd appreciate it. All right, so that's the Sixers. Right. Flyers, my wheelhouse. Okay?
Absolutely.
Made a big trade yesterday. They traded Scott Hartnell to the Columbus Blue Jackets for R.J. Umberger, yet another former
recycled
Flyer.
deal. Yeah.
On the surface, I love the deal. And let me tell you why.
Well, it's financial.
Well, it's financial because Hextall's first move was something for the future.
Right.
That is a very good sign for this organization because generally the Flyers throw caution to the wind.
Right.
And try to go for it every year. It's a great philosophy, but it puts you on the wrong side of 1975 for many, many years. They get approximately the same cap hit, $175,000 less for R.J. Umberger, but
2 years less.
They get out of the deal 2 years.
Right.
Like it or love it.
Love it.
I love it, too.
I love it. I really do. Now, the other shoe to drop that I want to see is they got to move LeCavalier.
Well, I don't think if Ron Hextall, the Flyers' new general manager, is able to move Vinny LeCavalier. Can we curse on this? Is it all right? We can?
Absolutely.
This is the first time I'm going to curse in front of a microphone. He is fucking executive of the year, okay? Yeah. All right? I swear to God, I will give Hextall.
It would be a hell of a move.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I think someone will take him.
No, I don't know. I mean, they say Peter Laviolette because he went for him in Philadelphia.
There's going to be a team out there that needs a leader.
I don't know if you're based on the way Vinny played last year and 4 years
he was
left at $5 million per
Is
season.
it 5?
4.5, whatever. That's
right.
a lot of money. I mean, it's still a lot of money. And the Flyers do not have any other compliance buyouts. I don't know if they can do it. And on the surface, too, if Nashville is a landing place because of Laviolette, do you think that the Nashville Predators want to help the Flyers after the Flyers put them in the damn poorhouse
with that contract.
with that contract for Shea Weber?
That would be. It would be quite a slap to them. But look, that's the thing. You got to get rid of LeCavalier. And all these moves that Hextall needs to do in this offseason needs to start the process of unloading these contracts. This team needs to get young, and they need to do what the Sixers are doing. Follow the same philosophy.
I spent some time with Paul Holmgren last weekend at a alumni game.
Did he say more than 3 words?
No, he didn't. But I'll tell you what, the man's still in good shape and very, very intense. He was on the wrong side of 2 calls in a softball game. I swear he wanted to rip the freaking guy's head off. I loved him. I'm like, yo, Homer, relax a little bit.
Still a competitive guy.
Yeah, very still competitive. But we were, all the hockey guys got around, some of the writers, and we're having a powwow, and we're talking about certain things out here. And, it's hard to dump salary in the NHL. Now, you have to look at some teams that are near the salary floor and have to get above it. But it's really tough. It's really difficult.
Did you ever think you'd see 12-year deals?
No.
In any sport?
No.
In particular hockey?
Well,
it might have been the last one I ever saw that.
But you could tell, though, those deals were all to circumvent the cap, to spend it out. And you look, the Rangers just bought out Brad Richards.
Right.
I mean, all these long-term deals are being bought out. Richards still has so many years. The other Mike Richards in L.A., they're probably not going to buy him out just for the fact that he's got 2 cups now. Right. And they don't want to break any of the chemistry out there. But Hextall, this is a great move, but it's still not going to get anything really done. Giroux needs a sniper on that wing.
No question. But the salary dump, and they need some young guys in there. And defense. The best defensive player on this team still might be Kimmo Timonen.
And he's back for $2 million. And I was talking to some of the former Flyers, and even though Kimmo has lost a step, I think they think the important part about having Timonen back for $2 million is what he does in the locker room. Right. You can't stress enough the fact of a guy of leadership qualities. Now Hartnell was one of those guys too, but I had a Twitter war about this Hartner deal. And some guy says I was trivializing people's responses. I mean, you can't fall in love with players, Darren.
No, you can't.
I mean, what does Hartnell do? I mean, he takes $5 million minors a season. Right. He's always on his ass, right?
To me, that's the thing that drives me nuts about Scott Hartnell.
I mean,
the guy can't skate.
He's good on the power play. But R.J. Umberger R.J. gets it a little quicker up front. He can kill the penalty. Right. He can play either a scoring line or a checking line too. So that's good. So I wish we had more Flyers talk, but the Flyers talk, they have a draft this weekend on Friday and Saturday at the Wells Fargo Center. So
you have any guys you have your eyes on you think that they're targeting?
Not really. I mean, I think they're going to go forward. Or there was some news.
There's no young defenseman they can grab?
I don't think they're going to go defense. And the big kid, D'Angelo from South Jersey, is supposed to go 17 to the Caps. He's going to go in the first round. Right. That's a year after Johnny Gaudreau gets to the NHL as a product of South Jersey, too. So all of a sudden, Bobby Ryan, we're a hockey hotbed down here in South Jersey. Wildfire Radio here, wildfire.com. Brian Startare, Darren, DeGaetano. We are the magnificent bastards. So that's hockey talk. It's nice talking hockey in June, though, isn't it, Darren?
It is. And there's not many cities you can do that in.
No.
At least north of Philadelphia or south of Philadelphia. But yeah, you're right. It's nice talking hockey in June. It seems like the season ended like 4 months ago. But what did it end like? And it really ended.
It was about 2 months ago.
Okay,
yeah, the NHL playoffs are a marathon.
And they need to shorten that.
I don't know about that. I think they need to shorten the regular season. That's what they need to do. I mean, 82 games, but that's another chapter. I thought it was interesting that our very first segment here we talked about the winter sports on the hottest day of the year, which was very, very nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. The weather changed like 30 degrees this day.
It did.
It was like 70 degrees when I woke up. It's 95.
It was beautiful this morning, and now it's hot as anything. All right, we shall move on. I don't want to really talk about the Phillies. I don't, Darren, because I'm a little upset about what's going on here with the.
I have one thing to say about the Phillies that's driving me nuts, and I think that statistically I'm accurate. They have in their outfield the 2 worst baseball starters in Major League Baseball.
Don Brown and Ben Revere.
They are statistically the 2 worst baseball players in the majors.
You don't even have to go to the stats to say that. You could say that independently.
I don't know if it was a Sunday. I'm watching the game, and Revere can't even reach the cutoff man. He can't even reach Howard.
He's got a poor arm, first of all.
Poor.
Don Brown, there was a game, I think it was last night, which would have been Monday night if you're listening, against the Marlins, when the Marlins shut the Phillies out 4-0. There was a hit to left field. Don Brown had a beat on it. He came in, and then all of a sudden, backed off and let the ball drop in front of him. And
he's so tentative in everything that he does.
Oh, he stinks.
But you know what?
He had 6 good
Ability's
weeks.
one thing. Hustle's something entirely different. And I don't even see hustle out of the
He
kid.
had 6 good weeks, and I love the fact that Larry Bowe was ripping his ass, saying, how could you say you're feeling good about yourself when you have those kind of numbers? But you know what? It's an exercise in futility to talk about Don Brown and Ben Revere and the depletion of this roster. I think you really have to start talking about Ruben Amaro Jr. And the trade deadline, Darren, is coming up in about 5 weeks.
To me, this team needs to have a massive fire sale. The problem with that is the wrong guy's going to be making the deals.
And that's what I'm setting up. Do you trust Ruben Amaro Jr. to oversee this rehaul?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. And it's no offense to Ruben. Ruben's a great guy, and he's.
I don't care if he's a great guy.
He's been front and center with all of this. He hasn't backed away.
He's a nice guy, yeah, but he's made some bad decisions.
I mean, very poor. The only one that really has worked out for him is Marlon Byrd.
The farm system is in disarray. Oh, really? And he could have got Nelson Cruz for the same money. Nelson Cruz is carrying the Orioles to the playoffs.
Probably, but Bird's having a very good year.
Bird is the word. That's fine with me. But, you look at this roster, and so I'm going to give you some names here, and you tell me.
Okay.
You tell me if they can be traded or not. What can you get for them, and should you trade them or not?
All right, go ahead.
We'll first start with the big one, Cole Hamels.
Hamels, you can move anywhere. I think he's your most tradable piece. I also think he's the one guy they won't move.
See, I think that if you're going to re-sign all these guys and go for one last hurrah, you're right. The problem with Hamels is that if you're ready for a rebuild and you start to trade other guys, what's the sense of keeping a $25 million pitcher? But when the time you get good, he's going to be in decline. You see the pitchers.
Yeah.
Look at Justin Verlander. Look at Tim Lincecum. Look at all these guys.
He's not really a power pitcher, though, Hamels.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear that bullshit. Greg Maddux started. You know what Greg Maddux' record was over the last 4 years of his career?
What?
He was a 500 pitcher over his last 4 years of his career. And I know he had all those Cy Youngs, but pitchers start to decline.
I would take Greg Maddux in the last 5 years of his career right now.
I understand, but there's no untouchable to me. There's no untouchables to me. I would move Cole Hamels if I could.
I would too. I just don't think they're going to move him.
Jimmy Rollins.
Jimmy Rollins, I think, will be the first person traded. I think he's going to go to Detroit.
Pardon me. If he waives his no trade clause.
Yeah, and I think he will.
Well, now all of a sudden, I mean, since they...
You heard it. The last press conference he gave before the hit record, even when he said, if it's going to get blown up, well, then you know what? Then I'm out.
Listen, and I'm a J-Roll fan. I am. But the Phillies do ceremonies very, very well. But
they do.
Man, you would have thought this guy was going into the Hall of Fame last night. I mean, Jimmy Fallon, right? Derek Jeter. I mean, it was a nice touch. It was.
How great was Ricky Henderson? Did you understand one word he said?
Ricky Henderson. Do you know Ricky Henderson is
I didn't understand a single word he said. It was great.
Ricky Henderson is the answer to a very, very cool trivia question.
Okay.
He's actually the only guy that throws left-handed and bat it right-handed. That had over some different kind of numbers. Right. So if you can remember that stat, if you can look up the stat,
I know one thing. I know Ricky doesn't remember that stat.
Ricky Henderson. I thought he was going to say last night. Yeah, Jimmy, you're the all-time hit leader, but I'm still the greatest.
I mean, he essentially was saying that, but I think through all that muffled language that came out of his mouth. Right. I don't know how his players understand it anymore.
I would trade Jimmy as well.
I think Jimmy's the first one to go.
All right, Chase Utley has a 716,000 vote lead in the All-Star game, which blows anyway. The All-Star game stinks. Chase Utley, lifetime Phil, is he tradable?
Yeah, I think more teams will inquire about Utley than any other player.
I mean, you're telling me an American League team even wouldn't like a guy with that kind of...
Absolutely.
He can still play second. He's relatively healthy. He's having a good season.
DH him whenever he's later in the year.
Exactly. And I know his numbers are starting to dip a little bit, but the guy's had a good year. He's a perennial all-star.
Absolutely.
I would trade Chase Utley. And I'm a Chase Utley fan, folks. I named my first son Chase.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I love Utley. He's the quintessential team player. He leads by example, which I love. I don't need guys to be outspoken. He's the best leader on the team by how he plays.
Two others. Cliff Lee.
Cliff Lee, you want Cliff Lee? That's fine. You got to take Howard.
See, Cliff Lee, I think the great thing about it is...
the problem with it right now is you don't know how healthy he is.
Well, he's going to be starting a rehab stint this week, and you think he's a little better ahead of schedule, which means he could probably have 4 or 5 starts before the deadline.
Okay.
If you're a religious folk out there, pray. Pray
Pray
that,
for the health of Clifton
yeah,
Pfeiffer.
and pray that Cliff Lee mows him down and is spectacular in his 4 starts, because then you could start to maybe move
That's
something.
a nice thing to dangle. But I'm telling you, you
Hey,
need a guy like
don't
that.
Don't be dangling anything in the studio. Stop it.
You need a guy like Lee or a high jewel like that to lure Howard away.
Well, the thing about and Ryan Howard, I don't think you can move at all. I really don't. I mean, I know he's got 52 RBI. He's got 13 home runs.
He's going to give you 25 and 130
and he's going to bat
pretty much every
230,
year.
But
he is who he is.
He's owed $73 million.
And that's the problem. You're going to have to eat some salary. But if somebody wants, look, I'll give you Utley. You want Utley? Here, take him for this.
And
take him for my pen.
Jonathan Papelbon.
But, yeah, I think Papelbon is very movable right now.
Is he not the biggest douchebag you've ever seen?
The single biggest douchebege.
I mean, I've never, ever assimilated myself with Jonathan Papelbon.
He's another guy that the money kills him. He is so not. He's and he's pitching very well these last couple of months.
$58 million contract. I don't know what Ruben Amaro Jr. was thinking about at that time, but I'll tell you this, though. He's a guy that's had terrific numbers. So we've agreed, you and I, that no one is untouchable, and they could trade everyone. But how does Ruben play this out? How does he do it? The attendance is already bad. You're talking about August and September. You're giving the gate away.
Well, he needs to accept and come to terms with just getting kids. Give me the best prospects, the youngest guys, and completely rebuilding the franchise. I don't know that he can do that. I don't know that that's in his blood. But if he's a real baseball guy, that's what he needs to do.
And I just don't understand why David Montgomery puts this big vote of confidence on the shoulders of Ruben Amaro Jr.
Right.
I bet you if they took a poll, 80% would say that they do not approve of Ruben Amaro Jr. handling this rebuild.
And you'll learn a lot whether or not management is going to allow Ruben another season or not. I think if he does not have a fire sale this year, it's management saying, you're not getting rid of our guys because you're not going to make those decisions. We'll wait till the offseason.
All right, Phillies are down. Flyers are down. Sixers are down. We're coming back with the Eagles, some Springsteen, and some other stuff as well. Thanks for joining us today on Wildfire Radio. You can check out more information on wildfire.com or check us out on Twitter as well. He's Darren DeGaetano. I'm Brian Startare. We are the Magnificent Bastards. We'll be back in just a flash here on Wildfire Radio. All right, we're back here on Wildfire Radio.
Wildfire Radio, you got to get that right.
I was saying wildfire.com. It's wildfireradio.com. By the way, I just realized that inside this awesome studio of ours, is that there's cameras here. And I re-racked it, and I've noticed you checking me out for the last half hour.
Well, your head takes up most of the screen.
I got a big head.
I see you over there, and that's me.
I'm just checking out my new shirt, my Tommy Bahama, and I have a stain from dinner on. I want to know if
it's dried. You're looking better.
It is? Okay.
By the way, our cameraman extraordinaire, Jim, he's always hanging out up there. He's always got a girl up there with him.
Jimmy's in a loft up there with a girl.
So he's up there with a camera and a girl doing all kinds of things.
This is kind of a setup. This is kind of cool motif here. A little coffee house, kind of little studio back here as well. We got guitars hanging in the back.
Yeah, they have a music background here, so they got a cool stuff.
Which is kind of cool. All right, before we get into our musical and men theme,
right?
I do want to get into the Eagles. Now, you and I are season ticket holders of the Eagles.
We are.
I'm also the post-game host on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Correct.
In Philadelphia, and Eagles are in our blood. I have to tell you this, that I am totally enamored with Chip Kelly. I love everything the man has done. I really do. I mean, he could shit in the street, and I say it's perfect.
You know, and you're not unlike a lot of people, and you people annoy the ever-loving shit out of me. You really do.
What has he done wrong?
You know what? It's not saying he's done anything wrong. I'm just saying that the unconditional love for Chip Kelly gets up my ass. It really does. The man has never won at any level. He's never won a title. And that's fine. And I like a lot of the things he's doing.
What the hell does that mean?
Because
all right, do you want more?
You can't assume that every move he's going to make is correct.
Do you want more fat ass Andy Reid? Could you like that? I mean, can I have 14 more years of
I can clear my throat all you want in here.
I mean, can I have 14 more years of that? I mean, what does it say about a guy that completely turns over a roster that was 4-12?
Yep.
Gets him to the playoffs.
Yep.
At 10-6.
Yep.
Right, a 6-game increase.
Yep.
Gets him to the playoffs.
Yep.
Gets an untraditional, non-running back quarterback, and gets him to have a Pro Bowl season of 29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Hold on? Go back up for a minute. You don't give any of the credit this season to the quarterback?
I give a lot of credit to Nick Foles. Hold on. Nick Foles and Chip Kelly both could take shits in the street. I think it's fine. I'm telling you that.
So, what are we on Bourbon Street?
No, I'm just saying this, that I like the way he does things.
Yeah.
I like the way that he eats and he breathes and he sleeps football. I like the fact that he enjoys what he does. It seems as though the last couple years under Reid kind of was very stale, and it kind of drove a lot of Eagle fans away.
Oh, I completely agree. And the city needed a change. The franchise needed a change. And I equated this change to like a baseball manager's change. You know, the rule of thumb in Major League Baseball, when you're going to change the manager, you go 180 degrees from personality. You know, you went from Boa to Manuel. You know, it was a perfect example of a big change. And that's what Andy to Chip Kelly was, an enormous face change for the franchise. And he's done a lot of things. I love the sports science aspect. This team was rarely injured last year. They were the least injured from the start, knock wood, of any team in the league. I don't think that's a coincidence. But, you know, he makes a lot of in-game mistakes that drive me fucking bananas.
And he made, you dropped the F-bomb.
I had to say it once.
Oh, my God.
I've never cursed on a microphone either.
That's a $10 curse jar in my house. We have a curse jar in my home. I have 2 young boys, and anytime somebody says, you know, an S word or the F word, you know, or you know,
you say the F word around your kids?
No. But sometimes
your kids do.
No, but my wife's got a trash mouth. I swear to God. I mean,
my wife does too.
She does, and I would just like, if I'm pissed off, I'll just get like a 20. Yeah. I'll throw it in there.
Credit for the night.
Yeah, and they know to run upstairs because I go crazy now. But what were we talking about? Right. Oh. Well, he's allowed to make mistakes in his first year. It's his first year on that level. And he even admitted the fact. He's, listen, I made mistakes, you know?
Right.
Time management.
But he doesn't get criticized for it.
Oh, come on. What do you want to do, hang him?
Well, I would like him to be criticized for it. You turn on, like, you know, hopefully, you know.
He got criticized.
When?
Oh, come on.
The only time he's ever gotten criticized as a whole is over the Deshaun Jackson situation.
Well, listen.
Which was a complete
and utter clusterfuck. And they better be right about that. They really better be right about that.
Well, you know what? I really don't think they were wrong about it. I really don't. I just think they handled the situation completely.
What, you don't think tweeting out a release is
oh my goodness,
is a good way to do business?
It really was from start to finish. And the New Jersey.com article, which came out, really didn't shed any light into this. You know, at the end of the day,
I just think
everything in that article was already known by the franchise.
I think you may be able to hear more down the road. But listen, Deshaun Jackson was a good wide receiver. I got Deshaun Jackson's jersey. Fine. I think he's an exciting player. But you know what? That offense took a quarterback that nobody thought was any good, well, most people did. I always
I always
Nick
thought he was
Foles.
great. I always did too.
29 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Shady McCoy breaks 4 of Steve Van Buren's records.
Right.
Has an All-Pro MVP season out there.
Right.
The whole offense has record-breaking numbers. It's earth-shattering. Don't tell me this offense won't be able to score more points
I think
again.
it's a
I don't
Super
care.
Bowl offense.
I think it is.
It's a Super Bowl. Now, I will say I do have some question marks at the wide receiver position. If you look at them from top to
young.
bottom, well, their best wideout may be the rookie Matthews. They've got him slotted. They got him in the slot, which I don't understand with his size. I really don't understand.
Well,
that. Macklin is a typical slot guy. Move him in.
Where are you going to put Riley Cooper?
I put Cooper and Matthews on the outside.
No, well,
And that way you've got size and you got speed with Matthews, and then you got Macklin underneath.
I think that's a lot of much ado about nothing.
Okay,
I think there's a lot of. I understand what
But
you're
look
saying.
at the roster.
But
Just
hold
look
on.
at the people that
I
have
just
the
think there's a
personnel.
lot of moving parts here. You got Darren Sproles, who's going to be a phenomenal addition
He'll
to
be a
this
slot
offense.
guy.
You have Zach Ertz, who's going to be one of the best tight ends in this league.
I agree.
Mark my words. You have Brent Selleck, who knows how to block and knows how to play team football out there.
Oh, by the way, all of a sudden, Brent Selleck is a blocking tight end.
Well, it's okay.
I'm just you haven't heard that ever
Well,
in his
you know
career.
what?
Now they're making him a blocking. tight
Zach
end.
Ertz is way better than him right now. He is. He's a better.
He's better than when he catches.
He's
the
a better
ball.
catching tight end, right?
Right.
So, so you have Macklin back. You didn't have Macklin last year in his career. It's almost like a free agent signing
Right.
Jeremy Macklin. So you have all these pieces. You have Chris Polk backing up LaShawn McCoy. You have with Darren Sproul out there. You have tons of
weapons. It's a Super Bowl offense. It really is.
My only problem with this offense is that you better keep Nick Foles healthy.
And that's another one of my.
Matt Barkley and Mark Sanchez scare the living shit
They
out of me.
do, and you have cause for concern because if you look at the last 2 games of the year last year against Dallas and against New Orleans, both 2 teams with very much bigger physical defensive lines. They overpowered the Eagles' offensive line.
Right.
The Kelsey signing, I don't think was necessary. I thought they needed to upgrade at center. Evan Mathis he's the oldest starting guard in football. Todd Herman's got bowled over by both those defensive lines. When the Eagles play bigger, stronger physical defensive lines, the offensive line struggles. So I really think that that is a cause for concern because Foles did not have great games those last 2
And I was
weeks.
really surprised that they didn't go too much defense in the draft out there. I mean, I like Nolan Carroll signing from Miami. Malcolm Jenkins. The defense can't help but not be better. And I think Billy Davis, the defensive coordinator, deserves a little bit of more credit that he's getting out there because I think that they've moved some pieces around. I'm interested to see Marcus Smith on that edge. I'm interested to see how that secondary can play a little better. I mean, hell, they got rid of Patrick Chung. They're already better.
They're already better. But, but I give Billy Davis all the credit in the world for this alone. He took Nate Allen, who I still think is worthless, and at least put him in position where he could make a couple of plays and be serviceable last year. And I think that alone is worth kudos.
All right, so what's this? So we've just sat for the first 45 minutes of our
But
program.
let me just get to the thing that really bothers me about Kelly during the game.
You weren't done?
No,
Because you seemed like you were done. I'm sorry.
Am I winded yet? No.
You look winded.
Kelly, here's what, and I get in arguments with people all the time over this. You and I probably argued about this in the car once or twice. During the game, he refuses to make adjustments to the speed. I understand you want to get the tempo going.
I got you. You're talking about run the clock out. No.
Slow the game down in the fourth quarter.
Stop.
They lost the game to the Saints because of it.
Well, there was a game last year at the end where the last 8 minutes they held on to the ball. What game was that?
That was against the Packers.
Against the Packers. The last 8 minutes they ran it
1
out.
out of 16.
All right,
it worked.
well, you learn from that. And second of all, you're saying about this. They lost it. They lost it. Nick Foles left the field with 4.5 minutes left with the lead. All right. If your defense can't stop somebody once in a while, tough shit. Seriously, why are you always playing? I mean, come on. It was his first year. Tell me that wasn't an enjoyable first season.
It was a very enjoyable. I give him all the credit in the world. I'm just not one of. I'm not going to sit here and say every move he makes. I'm not going to give the blessing of the Lord.
Oh man, are you getting religious on me? Oh, now you're getting religious on me. This guy. Wildfire Radio.
Yeah, we're not doing religion here.
That's wildfireradio.com. Is that correct, Jimmy? It is correct. Thank you so much up there, Wildfire.
He's taking a break with the girl.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're right.
Look at the tits on her. Wildfireradio.com. Wildfireradio.com.
One more NFL subject we got to get into.
Hold on. Am I the driver here or are you the driver?
Oh, you can drive.
I'm driving. All right, how about an NFL subject? Go ahead. You're driving me crazy.
Well, because I'm telling you, the NFL, And this Washington Redskins issue is driving me crazy.
Please. Oh, my God.
Let me ask you a question. When does the political correctness of society end?
You know what?
Now, of course, we're talking about the Redskins.
And I got to watch myself now because now I'm not governed by anybody that I can, but I'll say this. I'm not Native American, okay? So I'm not offended, obviously, okay? I don't know what it's like for scores of or millions of Native Americans. First of all, we all know the story about the land and the beginning of time in America. I understand that process, but to me, newspapers and political outlets were using these names: the Blackhawks, the Indians, Chief Wahoo,
well,
Redskins.
That's my whole problem.
I mean, for years,
why doesn't anybody attack the Indians and the Blackhawks?
You know what? Because people, no, they're going to be. They will, because it's next. I just have a fundamental problem with everybody being offended anymore. I'm just tired of it.
I agree with you.
Why? I mean, everybody's got to be offended. If people put more goddamn energy into doing good things in this world instead of bitching about the inequalities and atrocities that happen to everybody, we'd be in a much better place. Everybody's offended. Okay, I'm offended. You like The Sopranos?
I love The Sopranos.
You're an Italian American, right? I'm an Italian American. I'm a little tired of everybody saying, "Oh, what do you have, macaroni on Sunday? You got an Uncle Vito? Did he pop his neighbor? Are you in a mob?" No, I'm not. All right.
Well, I agree with you. And I'm an Irish American too. And I get that my mother-in-law's Italian. Gives me the whole drunk stuff all the time. Well, you got an Irish fridge. You got beer in your fridge.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Right. So
I'm just saying. Listen. Daniel Snyder, for once, is right. Stop. It's his business.
I agree. It's his company. It's his business. Let him run it the way he wants it. And I think he should have the right to keep the name.
And you're telling me that the federal government, with trillions and trillion dollars of debt, with all these friggin' problems we have, that they had to convene in Congress to say
that's what
we should take away the trademarks of the Washington. Is that the biggest problem of the day?
Right. That's what I want to know how much federal money was spent on this stinking issue.
This is going to be a lot of guy talk radio here. Okay, we're going to talk sports. We're going to talk music. We're going to talk food. We're going to talk broads. You said broads. But I will not talk politics. I really won't, because you know what? I just get infuriated with it. I get infuriated with the state of our country and the way they spend and tax, and it's just ridiculous to me. And more people are bitching and bitching and bitching and being offended by everything, and it bothers me. It really does. It does.
Well, and it's not going to end because you're going to have, first of all, you got, how many more months of the offseason do we have here? 3 or 4 months of the NFL offseason. I think it's 72 days now to the start of the season. So you got 2.5 months of this crap that we're going to hear about this Redskins name. Then you got to dive into the Blackhawks, and you got to dive into the Cleveland Indians.
Chief Wahoo. Now, again, there's people out there that they're going to write. They're going to write what they're going to write, and they're going to talk about what they're going to talk about. Again, I think you can be a good American by saying that you understand that it's offensive to some.
And not offensive to all.
Right. But is it anything when you think about it? I mean.
See, I never, and look, like you, I'm not a Native American, but I do.
How?
But I never thought of the Redskins name as derogatory.
Why don't they just be called the Redskin Potatoes and put like a potato on their helmet?
You
can keep the Redskin, and right? is that offensive? The Redskin potato?
I make a nice Redskin potato dish.
Do you?
I do. Cut them with oil, rosemary.
Well, that's tough. You cut potatoes and put oil in it.
And you got to fry them for a little bit, and then you bake them.
You can't cook.
I'm a great cook.
No, you're not.
I'm telling you.
You're telling me what's your 3 best dishes? I want to hear your 3 best dishes.
My 3 best dishes.
This should be good. We have a drum roll. Do you have any sound effects at all? Can I get a drum roll, please?
I make a good steak.
You make a good steak.
I make my own gravy.
How you can boil water good?
You've obviously never made gravy. If you're asking me if I'm boiling water,
I make a nice pot of gravy. All right.
Do you? How do you make it?
I'm not giving away my recipe.
You've never made gravy in your life.
Your ass. First of all, my gravy would be way better than yours.
We're gonna have a gravy off.
Sure, we'll have a gravy off. That's fine.
We're gonna have We're gonna come. We're both gonna make gravy one week, and we're gonna bring it in here. We're gonna have Jim and Steve.
We'll let Jimmy and Steve. Big Daddy's here. He'll take it home with him. But
yeah, he'll sneak the whole gravy.
Hey, this gravy. Are you Italian?
You guys made macaroni without me?
Macaroni.
Christ,
you guys are Italian. This ain't ragu. All
right, moving on.
Anyway, I make a nice salami meatloaf. I make
salami meatloaf. What do you? Would you spend 15 years in prison? Salami meatloaf.
Well, that does have a little bit of a connotation that you're going to hide the salami in somebody's meatloaf.
Well, no, that's what they feed prisoners in jail. Bologna, salami.
Salami meat.
Step it up. Get a little gabagool in there.
Genoa salami. It's Italian. I make that. I make a wonderful fish tacos.
Okay.
I love fish. Again. And a great eggplant parm.
Eggplant parm is that's a tough dish to make.
You know, but eggplant parm makes me shit. I swear to God, it does. Is there a food out there that you just cannot have? Seriously, every time I eat a portobello mushroom, I am Johnny Mud Pie. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
Burger King.
Burger King.
Yeah, pretty much any fast food. That's why I stay away from fast food.
I try not to eat any fast. I'm telling you though, every time I have a portobello mushroom, it's like a classic mud pie for about an hour. I don't believe it. I mean, it's nuts.
That
eggplant.
Pretty much, I don't have the greatest digestive system in the world.
Yeah,
That's why I
that.
stay away from food. That's why I stay from fast food because my stomach does not agree.
He's Darren DeGaetano. I'm Brian Startare. We are the Magnificent Bastards here on WildfireRadio.com. We're going to be coming to you each week with bigger and better things to come. This is our maiden voyage, and we appreciate you checking in. We're going to cover the all levels of Philadelphia sports and national sports and some food as well. We'll mix in some guy talk as well. And you can be sure that we will talk a little Bruce Springsteen coming up as well. Yeah. I want to get your feeling on the World Cup real quick.
Great.
Boy, was I pissed. Yeah, but see, I'm an American. I'm an American, okay? I don't have... Is it wrong? I tweeted out, is it wrong that I'm not a soccer fan and I'm still pissed off about that goal from Ronaldo? Crossing.
I was deflating. I got caught up in the game a little bit.
It sucked.
I got caught up in the game.
They were 20
bit.
seconds away. Now I'm going to get zero work done on Thursday because I'm going to be stuck in front of a TV watching USA Germany in the middle of the afternoon. I'm going to be drunk by 4 o'clock.
Meet me at the bar. Watch both work. Meet me at the bar.
Yeah, I'm right over there, boss. I'll be right there. Yeah, I mean, but I like the nationalistic pride. I like the pageantry of it all. I do. I mean,
but don't you get? I mean, half of it is just. It's not. I don't want to say it's fake.
I'm not talking about the game. I'm not talking about the floppers. I'm not talking about the bullshit penalty kicks. I understand. There's lots to hate about soccer.
Yeah.
First things first. It seems like a lot of unnecessary running, doesn't it? I mean, why would you run that much?
Those guys run.
It's crazy. They run like 7 miles a game. They said. It's nuts.
They track that now. They tell you how many kilometers they ran when they come off the field.
I mean, I figure if I played 2 soccer games this month, I wouldn't be fat anymore. It'd be great.
Whew, man, I would need a lot more than 2 soccer games.
You would need Olympics. But the thing about it is this, though. What is greater than those shots of the Piazza in Philadelphia, Bryant Park in New York, the Madison Square Garden in New York?
It's just an excuse to get together and drink.
I don't care, though. So what? You know what? We need more of that. None of us get together. You remember the days?
There's a reason every night.
Do you remember the days after 9/11?
Yes.
Everybody was waving their flag.
Yeah.
Everybody was being nice to one another. You had people on the street corners waving their flags.
Right.
You had people not being assholes on the road.
Right.
You had people. You know why? Because somebody blew up our buildings and killed 3,000 of Americans, and we were pissed off. We united and we got together. Now, I'm not equating tragedy to a soccer game, but if it's a tragedy or if it's an event,
right.
I just think that we need to have more pride in our country. There's too many different segregations in our country anymore. There's not enough Americans.
See, now I got to go weep in the corner because you're tugging at my heartstrings.
I mean, come on.
Hold on, though. You know what? I get that, but that's not why everybody's together. Now, everyone isn't. These bars aren't. I was at the Princeton.
You cynical prick.
I was at the Princeton and Avalon on Sunday for that USA game. It was a huge crowd. It was great. Everybody's excited. It was like an Eagles game. Everybody was cheering, drinking. But they weren't there for country pride. Those people were there because it was a reason to get together at a bar and drink.
Let's see. 87 degrees down the shore. Check.
Right.
Okay. Sunday, people are off. Check. A good shore bar. Check.
Right.
Of course, you're going to have a collection of people there.
But like Thursday, I guarantee you, every major bar in town is going to be crowded, and it's not for American pride.
So what do you tell me? Everybody's going to watch a soccer game or to watch the cloth of the red, white, and blue?
I think they're there just to hang out and a reason to get together and
Bullshit, Darren. They're there.
I disagree with you. I think when the game's over, if they lose and the World Cup ends for the U.S.,
you're wrong.
Right,
I think there were a lot of people who were pissed off. There were non-soccer fans. They were mad. They wanted them to advance to the knockout round. What's wrong with sports? Is supposed to be your cathartic release. Sports is supposed to bring people together. You're supposed to enjoy No, hold on. Let me finish here. You're supposed to enjoy yourself in sports, and you being cynical right here. Oh, it's just an excuse to drink, you drunk bastards. Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Because first of all, if it was how many people? If it was like curling. Right? Everybody got together and watched curling. Every guy.
Have you ever seen the Canadian bitches curl?
First of all, I love curling.
My God.
All right? I love watching curling. But I can guarantee you that all the bars during the Winter Olympics, because I was in them, when curling was on, it was crowds of guys watching that shit.
All right, you know what? This is first.
Because,
all right, I will,
and then when it's over,
I will concede the drunk point to you, since you know a lot about that area. Okay, fine. I will concede the drunk part to you. That's fine. People do convene for a party. You're right. There is an excuse to get together and party. But I think on a level where, I love seeing 4,000 or 5,000 Americans in the middle of the friggin' Amazon waving our flag and being
I think it's cool.
and being cloaked in our flag. I love seeing those shots of people getting together and waving the flag. Right. I don't care if you want to wave the flag for anything else, any other reason. Just wave the flag. Just wave it. And let's close with pet peeves. You know what? My dad's was a United States Marine. Okay, Semper Fi. Grew up in a military household. Right. I will tell you this: when the national anthem's being played, my hand is over my heart.
Mine is
I am staring at that flag, and you should stand at attention. I can't stand when people are chattering, or they keep their hat on, or they keep moving. You're telling me you can't stand 2 minutes, 4.5 if it's Whitney Houston. You can't stand 2 minutes and salute your country?
No, I don't have. I was thinking about this the other day at Memorial Day. I really don't have anyone in my family as far as military background, but I do stand at attention, and it does bother me when people.
Is that what your wife said?
Yeah. Go ahead and kill me. It's fine.
She said you're hung.
I'm all right. You can kill me.
Yeah, she said you're hung like a light switch.
Like a light switch. It's great.
It's okay.
No, but that bothers me too. It really does. It bothers me. But I think that 99% of these people that are out there waving the flag and all that, when the World Cup's over, a week later, they won't even remember it. They won't even remember the tournament.
Another pet peeve.
Go ahead.
Have you seen Route 42 lately?
The entire area is under construction.
Christ.
We're here in Collingswood now, right?
Yeah.
For 15 square miles, there's road construction.
Now, it's not just the fact that it's under construction. The signage is poor. But I'm telling you, do we not have one of the worst driving people in the United States of America?
Yeah,
they can't figure out the new driving pattern that you go left to the Walt Whitman, right to the Ben Franklin. They see the sign where it says 295.
Right.
It does avoid that awful split because I can't stand people that drive up in a lane that's already ending,
right,
and then cut over at the last point, because they're more important. That wherever they're going is more important than wherever you're going.
Dude, that's never going away. But what makes it worse is the New Jersey Department of Transportation likes to do everything at once.
Right.
Let's not fix one side of the road and then move on. Let's fix both sides of the road.
By the way, what are they doing? Are they widening it? Is that what they're doing?
I can't figure it out. I think they're kind of the turns that we're referring to is where 295 and 42 meet. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah.
So for those in the area know that that's a total mess right now. They're very sharp turns. In fact, I was literally driving in a car that took the turn, didn't take it sharp enough, and they were going too fast. Flipped up and landed right behind my truck on its back.
Nice.
So it's a really bad area.
What did the Russian judge give them the landing?
Yeah, right. And he dipped. But I think they're just kind of widening the turns to make them easier.
They need to double-decker that bitch. That's what they do. Or why not put a speed line from Philadelphia right down 55? I don't understand it. There are so many more people living in that Gloucester area down there.
Well, you're selfish. That's where you live.
Well, I'm just saying. If I want to take a speed line, I got to get on 42 to go to Camden, or I got to go down Berlin Cross Keys Road to get to what's White Horse Pike? What's that? Near the bowling alley. What's the
White Horse Pike near? What's Route 30?
Lindenwald. That's what it is. Lindenwald. You're not picking up my wavelength.
I hear you, but that's not realistic.
Well, put it right down there. Put it right through 55.
What are you going to cut through? That's all towns. That's all neighborhoods of homes.
Right through the middle of 55. Go underneath if you have to.
What you want to do is you want to widen or double-decker White Horse Pike. That's the central vein.
No, how about
Right
this?
through.
Let's just blow up Jersey and get out of here. That's what we got to do.
That's awful.
All right, so we covered a variety of sports tonight. We acquired a variety of different things. Closing thoughts this week on just anything that's on your mind.
As far as the NBA draft goes, it's Thursday. I do think that one way or the other, I think he's going to wind up with Wiggins. I don't think he walks away from this draft without him. I think he does whatever he has to do, even if he gives him. Man, would you give up your number one next year?
You can't. It's Celtics. The Celtics have it. You can't.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so,
Celtics have it next year.
I would do this. I would
give up 310 at that right now.
I would do everything in my power to get the best player in this draft because they say because he's that clear cut. But at the same notion, if everything was so clear cut in drafts, Michael Jordan would have been third overall. You know, back in '84. I mean, it just you think about it. Is there a LeBron James? Is there a Michael Jordan?
No.
Is there a Kobe Bryant in this draft? The Sixers need so much, but
Kobe Bryant, what did he go 17 that draft?
I think he went 7th, the Charlotte, and then they traded him to the Lakers. I think it was 7th. But I agree with you. I think Wiggins becomes a Sixer. If at the end of the day he turns around and I get Randall and McDermott, Dougie Buckets, I'm happy as hell.
I want McBuckets too. I'd love to see him in a Sixer uniform because they don't have any scores on his team, and that's all that kid does is score. Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Tiger Woods coming back this week. Me too.
Love it.
Now he's the ultimate. He's the ultimate villain or hero to golf. You and I are both golfers.
People like to hate Tiger because he's Tiger Woods. The same people that hate LeBron Woods.
Right.
LeBron James. Yeah, LeBron Woods. There's a nice synergy there.
Yeah.
I think Tiger Woods. I don't care about his philandering.
I don't care about any of that.
He shouldn't have got married. That's all. That's all his problem is. I mean, come on. He's got $1 billion in the bank. He's a good-looking dude. Yeah. I mean, he can do whatever he wants. Let me ruin this and get married. What are you an idiot? Right. I mean, seriously. But
I think he's so good for the game, though. First of all,
did you watch the U.S. Open?
Well, I did.
I did, but Martin Keimer ruined it because he went coast to coast.
It was over after round one.
When Tiger Woods plays, when Tiger and Phil are neck and neck on the back nine in the third or fourth round, it's better golf.
Television ratings are up 40%.
It's better for the game.
It's better for the game. Now, the one thing that I always, and I get into a lot of discussions about Tiger because there are things about him that absolutely infuriate me, and there are things about him that I am so admirable of. First of all, his spitting, his throwing the club, his MFing people, his cursing and throwing shit on the. He says these curses and shit. He throws his clubs on the course.
All right, so he's got to work on his decorum.
You don't even do that at public courses.
No, well, I know you do. I do not. Come on, you didn't throw your 4-iron last week at a. No. Listen, I hear you. Listen, you got to have respect for your partner. You got to have respect
for the game. It's one of those games where integrity is more important than anything else.
I think your integrity should be more important than anything else in anything.
Correct.
Not just golf.
Correct, but you can't say that about any other sport.
No, I think the integrity of hockey is there. I think hockey players have integrity.
As much as golf?
There's a baseball code. Golf's snippy. That is snooty.
It can be.
I mean, come on.
But there's parts of that. That's the reason why I like it.
Bunch of white guys at the country club making fun of people. Come on.
And I'm the whitest guy there is. But
you are.
But the things about him that I do admire that I don't think many young athletes follow is that his work ethic when he's not playing. Nobody works harder. Nobody practices more than Tiger Woods. The reason why he's as good as he is.
But why does he have to be everything to everybody? I mean, can it be that he's just a great golfer? Does he have to be a great father?
No.
Does he have to be a great husband? Does he have to be the greatest sportsman around? Who gives a shit? He's a great golfer. I love how he put all these expectations on everybody. I swear to you, they got to put him on a pedestal. You make a statue about him.
Right.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you put people on pedestals.
Well, look,
they fall down.
I'm not saying he has to be everything. I just admire the way he conducts himself on the practice greens because nobody works harder. I mean, the guy. Oh man, let me tell you, more hours are spent by Tiger Woods practicing than any other professional golfer in the world.
That's why
that's why Bubba Watson drives me nuts. But you know how often Bubba Watson practices? Never.
You mean that Bubba Johnson? Bubba Watson. I mean, Bubba Watson's always crying.
Dude, but he's the man. He's hovercraft, the General Lee. He never practices. He just goes out, hits the ball, wins the Masters twice.
Got a pink driver. I love it.
It's great.
All right, that's all the time we have today on this Wildfire Radio. We got to thank Steve, our engineer, and Jimmy upstairs for his cackling and opening the door for us as well. And Big Daddy Graham for showing us the door here at this great opportunity here at Wildfire Radio.
Right, we're here on Tuesday nights.
We're going to be here on Tuesday nights. Again, this was just a test run, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. You can hit me up on Twitter, Brian Startare at Twitter, or on Facebook as well, or Darren DeGaetano. You're on Twitter. What's your handle?
At Darren DeGaetano, D-E-G.
D-E-G.
Yeah, that's all you got to You'll find me. That's all you need.
Put that in there. It'll come up.
And we'll be here Tuesday nights from 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to cover a lot of things, not just sports. A lot of guy radio.
It's going to be like guy radio. I'll tell you right now. I promise you, though, it won't be an agenda. We'll talk about some music. Darren and I have many similar interests, including Springsteen, Italian food, and good.
We're going to have a gravy off one week.
Yeah, we're going to have a gravy off 1 week as well, too. But we're going to have a lot of fun. And you know what? It's going to be uninterrupted. It's going to be the way you like it. And it's going to be it's going to be like mainstream Philadelphia, Delaware Valley kind of stuff. We can all get involved.
And we welcome questions, suggestions. Hit us on Twitter. We're going to Brian on Facebook.
We're going to set up a Twitter. We're going to set up an email. We're going to set up all kinds of different things to be interactive in the show. And it's gonna be really fun, Darren.
I'm looking forward to a fun summer.
I'm looking forward to it as
well. And then football season will be here before we know it, and that's my forte.
Once again, Tuesday nights I'll be at Clancy's in Sewell on from 8 to 11 o'clock doing Quizzo. Wednesday night I'll be at the House of Brews from 7 to 9 doing general trivia. And on Thursday night I'll be hosting a book signing for This Day in Philadelphia Sports, where you can get your copy at tdips.com. I'll be hosting a draft party at Shalene's in Westville. We're doing trivia, Philadelphia sports trivia, and watching the Sixers have a Monmouth draft. A Monmouth. I want to say a Monmouth.
Mammoth is big enough. Mammoth.
Monmouth is a county.
It's Central Jersey. It's way too much money. I can't afford Monmouth County.
Darren DeGaetano and Brian Startare. We are the Magnificent Bastards. We'll see you next week, everybody, right here on Wildfire Radio.